So how are you guys? Let me see. Got it. Nice, nice. All right. All right, everyone. Welcome to the Entrepreneurship Hub on our Small Business Workshop Series, Session 2. So first, I'll quickly get ahead. Everyone can see me on screen. You have 25 persons online. They'll be seeing us through this camera, right? So if you have a question, I'll make sure you have to speak into this mic so that they can hear you, right? The first session was last month. It was in the Regional Corporation for Siparia. Very well received. The key thing that impacted me was we had a lady from Cuba who was a nurse for the last 8 years here in Trinidad. And she said that we don't appreciate what we have here. And she's grateful that we have such resources to give, right? So we have an opportunity and I wish that we make the most out of it going forward, right? So welcome to the Entrepreneurship Hub. I'll give you a quick intro, all right? All right. So this is the vision of the is to promote collaboration, consensus building, and share knowledge about best business practices. Collectively, we'll foster a vibrant, and let me make it easy for you guys. Screen. Vibrant and sustainable entrepreneurial ecosystem by promoting the ease of doing business to all entrepreneurial stakeholders in the region. That is a big mouthful. So let me explain via example what we really mean. Right? So the Entrepreneurship Hub, over 1,000 members. So we're hoping to amalgamate or collect 1,000 entrepreneurs just like yourselves and me, right? To the point where we could say there are 1,000 of us, right? Supported by the US Embassy, Port of Spain, local, regional, and foreign chambers of commerce. And that's a nice example of what we would have done. We'll hope to do is to collaborate with the banks to ensure access to banking and finance is as least restrictive as possible. All major banks in TNT agreed to adopt the processes set out in the guidelines to opening a bank account in TNT because we know, having interacted with many entrepreneurs, some of their issues is finance, right? So, all right. And this document features the worldwide best practice of opening bank accounts for entrepreneurs and ensures that this process is universal and easy. So this is a hope that one thing that we wish to see and is articulated in this hopeful example. A reason why this is here too, there's a document written by the IDB and it says, Caribbean entrepreneurs, many firms, little innovation. And within that document, they say that we tend to stay small. We don't grow enough. And when they ask why, it was we don't adopt best practices. Now, we do have an opportunity to access the best practices. So this is just one part in which we wish to play, right, in sharing those best practices. And hopefully something as simple as opening a bank account, we would adopt the best practice worldwide. So in Trinidad and Tobago is the easiest, the best way of getting a bank account here. And perhaps the Entrepreneurship Hub would have a pivotal role in that. Right, so some of the projects we did so far come from examples, mapping the social entrepreneurial landscape. We looked at the social entrepreneurs. We asked 100 entrepreneurs what were their challenges, right? And number one, of course, access to finance. Number two was secure materials. So the price of imported materials. We wanted secure pricing, right, and shipping. All right, another project led by one of our founders, Deidre Leakin, somewhere inside there, right, in red, right, Academy of Women Entrepreneurs. They are on their 5th cohort, right, and they have done phenomenally well. Every female who has been part of this program and that I asked said they didn't know what they were doing before they went to the program, and it's amazing how much it impacted them. So, and again, this is an example of funneling best practices to persons with the ability and the opportunity. So we have it, we have the talent, we have these skills. It's just take up the best practices and we will do phenomenally well. Which brings us to the Small Business Workshop Series. Now, another founder of the Entrepreneurship Hub is here today, and that's JoAnn Flett. Just make it, you see her somewhere inside there. Yes, that's lovely smiling lady, right? Now, the Ehub would not be here if not for JoAnn Flett, because we entrepreneurs were just too busy doing our own thing, right? And JoAnn said, hey, come together. Let's make this happen. Right? And that is what we are doing here at the Entrepreneurship Hub. All of you, and all 25 of you guys, right? 26 of you guys online, we need entrepreneurs to come together, right? And together, we can make an impact. Shem alone can't do it, right? Shem might wish to inspire as best as possible, wish to be here as best as possible, but Shem has 3 kids and a wife, right? So Shem time limited, right? And I love the Hub. I love what it stands for, but I also have to provide for them. But it's just me. But you have all of you guys. And together, we can make this happen. And I tell you, when I speak to the chambers of commerce, because there are some really nice people involved in making this happen for us. Let me just move this. I know the people online can see, but the people in the embassy can't see it so much. Oh, this is blocking the partners, and I'll tell you who some of the partners are. Of course, the U.S. Embassy. Right now, Ehub wouldn't be here without them either, because they said, you know what, Trinidad could do a lot better with respect to prevention of crime, right? Of terrorism, putting people out there, right? So you know what? How could we stem people away or carry people away from violent crime and violent extremism? Entrepreneurship. But Trinidad and the board are someone's expert to come in and say, how could Trinidad be impacted through entrepreneurship? And a real key way is through an entrepreneurship hub. So they connected to the persons who were program alumni of the US Embassy, and they asked them who is interested in entrepreneurship. And those alumni came together to build the very foundations of the hub. And as we are in our forming stage, together with all of you guys, we're going to make this super impactful. Right? Oh, let's see. So some of the other cool people who we met. So when we approach the chambers of commerce, they're like, this is wonderful. Come. Yes, we will help. And we approached the local corporations. We went to Superior, we went to Couva, and they said, yes, I love this. Please come. They want to be part of this. Right? So interestingly, the local corporations, there are lots of persons in the rural area that don't necessarily have access to come to a lovely room like this. Last time when we did reach out to go to Superior, room was packed because all these people with a glowing eyes saying, wait, thank you for this opportunity. Right? So I definitely might want to go back somewhere there, but we definitely want this in-person vibe still. But you have to find a way to connect to all of these people. Leaving the person behind is the mantra, right? To have an opportunity for all of them to be connected to this lovely information that they're going to see. Small Business Workshop Series. All right, let's see. All right. So cool. The goals of the Small Business Workshop Series are to leverage the YLI online courses and training material. So I'll tell you about YLI in a minute. Work alongside key stakeholders in the entrepreneurial landscape. Let's see. Right. To help entrepreneurs, you guys, better understand the resources available to you. Just a key part on that. When I started off, I was like, just in your own bubble, perhaps you and YouTube, right? But then I was lucky enough to be in a group chat, right, for YBTT. This is Youth Business of Trinidad and Tobago. and they are one of the founders for pushing behind Global Entrepreneurship Week in Trinidad and Tobago for this week. And someone within that group sent out an opportunity for YLI, Young Leaders of America's Initiative, right? And this is why I'm here today, luckily. But in there and in that program, I got a lot of resources, and you are a beneficiary today from those resources. And of course, offer an opportunity to network and improve alumni engagement. So all the women, all the YLIs, all the persons of this program, I want us to continue to connect. Because I was part of YLI, I understood what that meant, right? So YLI is an opportunity to attend, is a US department state-funded program that takes promising entrepreneurs, 250 each year, to America to train them for about 6 weeks, right? And you are there, while you're there, mentored from a like business like yours. So at the time I went to mentor, and I learned a lot. I saw what a scale up was like, and I saw what networking, I saw what business building was. It had a dramatic impact on my output and my career as an entrepreneur. Sitting in a room with 250 persons and have 250 persons asking almost the same question. How could I get money? How could I get investment? Having persons say to us, all of you guys' business is different, but essentially entrepreneurship, 80% of it is the same thing. You get that core down, and that 20%, that technical individuality that you have, will excel as well. But you must get the core entrepreneurial skills down. And that was what YLI was about. This is what the Small Business Workshop series is about, making sure that we have those skill sets down. I hope you guys hear it. Yes, it's good. All right. Oh, Ehub, folks, right? So now, YLI was so nice. They wanted all these entrepreneurs that they touch base with over all these years, 250 per year, to have something that they could continue to use after they went on the program to build themselves. And they said, no, not just they're going to give it to the alumni. They want to make this available as far as possible. Do it in groups. Do it on your own time, right? All these resources, and there are a lot. So let's see, if you go to this here, and of course, you registered, so you get the link, right? YLIstate.gov online resources. Pow! All right. And you're going to see. They took some of the top US experts, professors, and they made these courses just for young entrepreneurs, free of charge, right? It's unbelievable. During COVID, I took in a couple of these, impactful, right? And there are a lot of them. You could go through at any time and determine, I want to improve my personal growth. I want to take up servant leadership, right? You could do all of these things. You don't have to wait on Shem or the Ehub or anyone to walk you through it. But today, you do have the Ehub to walk you through it, right? So we are going to look at fundamentals of responsible leadership for entrepreneurs. Pow. Wait. Are you doing this with JoAnn Flett? Remember that founder? I forgot to mention how cool she was, right? It's not just JoAnn Flett, it's Dr. JoAnn Flett, right? Fulbright teaching scholar. Fulbright is also a program from US Embassy, right? And she's the executive director of the Center for Faithful Business. So very pleased to have her on board with us. And as we go through this, she will answer any questions that you guys have. Not me. I'll give you my perspective of what I've seen as a fledgling entrepreneur. But JoAnn will do much better. All right, so let's take the first lesson. So everyone with me? Let me get some thumbs up, hands up. Nice. People online, let me see some thumbs up. If you guys are here. 31, if you want to see 31 hands up, guys. Thumbs up. No. Again some. You know, I know all the online people. All they pretending, all they not there. But I seen you guys, okay? I seen you guys, right? So good. Let me take a look at them before we start. Make sure. Look at them. Yes, yes. Nice. Right. Hey, look, Cindy Lou Valentine. Yes. Hey. Lovely, lovely. All right. So of course, this is a hybrid thing. So there are some drawbacks, which are persons in the audience for them to hear you, online folk to hear you. You have to come and talk in the microphone. Right? It's a pretty cool mic. I can point it. Say hello.
Hi. Hello.
You heard that online?
Can I say hi to Cindy Lou?
Of course.
Hi, Cindy. It's Molly, Ian's cousin.
All right. All right. Okay, but see, we didn't see you, so next time I'm gonna come up here and talk, okay? Sorry. Nice. So you haven't folk up there. Oh, Brian. Lovely. I love the voices. Thank you. Make it feel warm. I love seeing all kind of pretty people. Lovely. Root. Right. Nice. So good. We having people, man. Right. So now let's move in. Oh, and I see some chat. Oh, one other downside is give me like a thumbs up or a reaction. Raise your hand. Because I won't be able to see the chat. I won't be able to see the chat all the time. Okay. Or Vash could button and say, Shem, you have a question. So cool. All right. Looking good, guys. Let's begin this session. Oh, yes. And last thing, sorry. I must say I'm very pleased that persons interested in ethical business. Very, very pleased. All right. Enough of me, guys. Let's hear the first expert advice. Wait. I think I'm supposed to share with sound. Share screen. Share sound. Right.
Hello, my name is Siri Turgeson, Professor of Management and Entrepreneurship at Florida Atlantic University and the Norwegian School of Economics. Welcome to Fundamentals of Responsible Leadership for Entrepreneurs. This lesson is entitled Basic Principles of Ethical Business Leadership. In this lesson, we will review the 2 standard theories of ethics for business and entrepreneurs. We will examine why ethics is a necessary skill for leadership. We will consider how entrepreneurs must be prepared to face unintended consequences, and we will look at recommendations for entrepreneurs when faced with difficult situations, along with questions they should ask themselves to develop an ethical philosophy. Entrepreneurs are typically involved in a broad set of activities in their ventures and must make decisions based on sound business ethics. These challenges are especially relevant in countries that have less developed institutions, for example, operating in markets with a high level of corruption. While there are certainly many good books, websites, and other resources that discuss ethics, there is no guidance on every single situation that an entrepreneur will face in the course of starting and growing his or her venture. There are, however, some overall guidelines that entrepreneurs can follow to maintain transparency and good governance in their operations. There are 2 primary standard theories of ethics, shareholder theory and stakeholder theory. According to shareholder theory, a manager's primary duty is to maximize shareholder returns. As Nobel laureate economist Milton Friedman once wrote, there is one and only one social responsibility of business: to use its resources and engage in activities designed to increase its profits, so long as it engages in open and free competition without deception or fraud. Stakeholder theory broadens the accountability to multiple constituents, such as employees, suppliers, customers, partners, and communities. According to this model, relevant stakeholders should be identified and then determine the conditions under which their stakes are most important. Certainly, entrepreneurs value their autonomy, but they realize that they require many stakeholders in order to be successful. Entrepreneurs will need to actively cultivate these relationships and build a culture of trust. Ed Freeman, editor of the Journal of Business Ethics, has argued that too many executives adopt the separation thesis in that business is separate from ethics, but in fact, the two go hand in hand. Ethics is more than just good behavior. It's a necessary skill for leadership. Entrepreneurs need to be able to recognize potential dilemmas, consider the nature of their challenges, and move forward. Dealing successfully with ethical issues will also impact an entrepreneur's personal well-being because the decisions made in the workplace spill over into personal life too. One way to plan for and guard against ethical pitfalls is to develop a code of conduct. This code of conduct is your policy statement, which outlines the values and behavior that you expect from everyone you deal with: employees, suppliers, customers, partners, and communities. One example of an entrepreneurial firm's code of conduct begins by stating that everything we do in connection with our work will be and should be measured against the highest possible standards of ethical business conduct. This code of conduct also acknowledges that these ethical practices are critical for interacting with stakeholders. It continues, our commitment to the highest standards helps us hire great people, build great products, and attract loyal users. Respect for our users, for the opportunity, and for each other are foundational to our success and are something we need to support every day. In addition to core stakeholders on the supply and demand side of their businesses, other stakeholders include non-governmental organizations, industry, and labor associations. Entrepreneurs need to be able to communicate with these parties in repeated interactions. As Brad Agel and colleagues discuss in their book, The Business Ethics Field Guide, it's a basic moral principle to live up to one's promises. But there are two key truths. First, breaking some promises will be necessary in order to live a moral life. And second, people remember when and under what circumstances promises were fulfilled or broken. But if you have a history of ethical leadership based on your code of conduct, you will find that recovering from these truths can be less catastrophic for your business. Generally, entrepreneurship is extremely positive for society, leading to job creation, reduced unemployment levels, increased competition and productivity, decreased poverty, and often opening up new markets and generating foreign income. But certainly any business activity, including entrepreneurship, can potentially result in adverse impacts, some of which can be anticipated. As an example, in certain product and service industries, there may be a fairly static demand. That is a constant demand regardless of changes in the supply. One illustration would be the demand for an ice cream shop. A town might have one ice cream shop that is fairly busy, and the addition of a second ice cream shop located in proximity may not double demand for ice cream. Thus, it is reasonable to expect that when an entrepreneur decides to establish a business in a market segment with static demand, he or she may be taking away sales from established businesses in close proximity. So be prepared to explain why you are choosing a certain path for your enterprise if you anticipate that your decision may inadvertently create negative effects for others. It is important to acknowledge that there may also be unintended consequences from entrepreneurship. One example, referenced in the book Entrepreneurship, The Practice and Mindset by Neck, and Murray, is Tom's Shoes, a for-profit company that utilizes a buy one, give one business model, by which Tom's Shoes donates one pair of shoes for every pair of shoes it sells, giving away over 35 million shoes. This model has been criticized for treating the cause rather than, as one might say, teaching someone to fish. Certainly there is then less of a market for individuals to set up their own shoe companies or to visit a local cobbler. Other researchers found that children who received the free shoes were 10% more likely to say that others should provide for the children's families, thus establishing a culture of dependency. In the Business Ethics Field Guide, the authors recommend 8 steps that can help you navigate and successfully survive ethical dilemmas. 1. Identify the important fact. Determine what you know and what other information you could quickly acquire in order to make a decision. 2. Identify the ethical issue. Determine the circumstances that require some moral intensity and articulate the values you want your decision to honor, and note how those values may compete. In other words, prioritize the issues, speak your values forcefully and clearly, and seek to resolve conflicts between the issues and your values. 3. Identify the relevant stakeholders. Determine what decision makers will be influenced by your action and which are most important to you and why, and what harm or benefit they may accrue from your decision. 4. Identify potential solutions. Outline all potential solutions and consider a combination of them, keeping in mind that doing nothing may also be an alternative. 5. Assess solutions using ethical perspectives. There are certainly many different time-honored principles of ethics that you can use as rationales for your decisions. You will likely not know how to resolve some things. Seek guidance from trusted sources who adhere to an ethical code of conduct. 6. Assess any new potential solutions. As you consider current perspective, you may generate some new alternatives. 7. Act in accordance with your ethical analysis. Do the thing you think is best, even if it is uncomfortable. And 8. Assess your actions and the outcomes. Determine how you feel about the results. The authors also recommend these questions to ask with every ethical challenge. What are the core principles at stake? Am I protecting others' rights? Does my decision preserve others' dignity and ability to choose? Would I be willing to be the other party in the transaction? Will this decision be fair to all involved? Who will be affected by my decision? Who will benefit? Who will be harmed? Who am I? What kind of person would this action make me? And how would I feel if my reasoning and decision appeared on the news? Whether dealing with customers, suppliers, and partners, managing employees or communities, developing an ethical approach to entrepreneurship is critical to effective leadership and the success of your business. Reflecting on these issues will help you build a strong foundation for confronting the tough choices that you will inevitably face as you advance your business and your career. After you have reviewed all of the lessons in this course, you can test your knowledge and earn a certificate.
All right. That was a lot. You got all that? Yeah. That's a lot. That's a lot. If you have questions, then any questions or afraid? Don't worry. This happened the same time. Same thing happened in the last session. First session, everybody's shy. You don't want to be the first one to ask questions. All right. Let's make sure online. Usually online breaks it. Right. You're quiet. You're afraid. I understand. It's not that you're bashful, no. You just don't want to be the first person. All right, let's see if I could make a question for you guys. All right. So there's a transcript here, and you could see the breakdown of it. I really like the 8 steps. And there's a question inside there. She said that what's important to her, to you, right? But let's see. Let's check in with our resident expert, our local expert. JoAnn, is there anything you want to input?
Thanks, Shem. Hello, everyone. It's good to be with you all. Greetings from Seattle, where the sun is shining. The sun almost never shines. They must know I was coming to Trinidad today virtually. So it's good to be with you all. Thanks for that really good presentation, Shem, on responsible leadership. Of course, it's birthed out of a stakeholder theory of management, as she kind of summarized the stockholder and the stakeholder. The stockholder primacy always prioritizes the stockholder. It means you make as much profit as you can, maximizing profit, which sometimes mean you get as much out of your employees, you get as much out of the environment, you look the other way. And so that opens the door to all kinds of unethical practices. So much so that stakeholder theory with Freeman saying we shouldn't think of businesses separate from the people who have a stake in business. The people who have a stake in business include the employees, the customers, the suppliers, your partners, the local community, the local environment. These are all stakeholders. And I would encourage each of you on the call who are entrepreneurs to, one of the things I thought we could think of before even talking about responsible leadership is, what are your own values? Part of the deal you have to come to is, what's my value? Is profit maximization the thing that I want the most? Or is it in fact to be in business and to make a reasonable profit, and yet to be in relationship with all of the entities that the professor there just listed, the customer, the supplier, your partners, the local community? And if your answer is yes to that latter part, then your way you do business is going to be significantly impacted and different. So I would say, ask yourself, who am I first, as kind of the beginning spot? What's important to me in terms of my values? How is that manifest in my business? How would I like to see that lived out and portrayed? And then there are all of the resources that she then gives you, these 8 steps for decision making that she points out, which are going to be really helpful. But it sort of begins with figuring out your own values. So I'll stop there here if there are any questions, and see if that creates a comment for you, Shem, as well.
Oh, I love the question, and watching the video, the video is here, but and the very core before that video is, as JoAnn said, what are your values? Have you guys asked yourself that question? What are your values? If I see no hands, I'm going to assume you never, you have one hand in your audience, you have one person have asked yourself. Yeah, next time. Yes, so you have. All right, does anyone want to see what their values are? Come on. Yeah, because they won't see the mic. Your people in your audience won't see you. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Christine Khan Gopal. I run a company called Authentic. I'm a female technician. My values within my company is the standards of which we provide quality work, because most of the times how we get our jobs, how I get my jobs is based upon the standards I deliver the work, in the sense of servicing rendered, and maintenance, as well as customer relationship, where we have a relationship beyond just work-wise. I would still call fine if the unit working, what's going on, stuff like that. So it's about the customer relationship for me, as well as the ethics of my job itself, where I take pride in my presentation of my work. I don't just go out there, do a job and say, well, today I'm doing a job, I expecting this amount of money. Yes, the money is important and it is a necessity, but it is not something that I would chase after. What I would chase after is making sure that my clients and them are satisfied with my job so they would be able to recommend me for other jobs, which have been doing for the past 2 or 3 years so far by the grace of God. Well said, well said. That is quality over. Yes, you can talk, you can talk. Right? Quality over profit. Anyone else shares her values or has any different values? And persons in the chat, you could put your topmost value in the chat. We could see it. Anyone else wants to say what their value system is?
Shem, while the next person's
Justice.
coming to talk, I just want to say that that's exactly right. That good business actually, I think I've spent my whole life on this side of the pond fighting to prove that Dr. Friedman, the Nobel laureate in economics, that where he said that the only social responsibility of business is to make a profit, that he was slightly mistaken. That is not a social responsibility of business. The social responsibility of business is to provide goods and services to people on the basis of an ethical demand, so that people buy your goods and services, just like the person just sharing. And when they buy that good or that service, they then refer that person on, and thus business is kind of built out that way. So actually you end up, it's just empirically correlated. I mean, think for yourselves that if one of the things that you do is, if you went to someone and they took advantage of you in business, would you go back and do business with them? No way. And so as an entrepreneur, you want to be the person who, when people choose you and they want to do business with you because they know that that they're not going to be cheated, that they're going to be respected. Some of the elements of what the person presented was talking about, the professor was talking about, that there's dignity in inherent worth, that you start to see your customers, your suppliers, and the people you do business with in their true humanity. And I want to do business with that person. And not only that, I'm going to refer other people to that person for business. So at the end of the day, you get repeat customers, and that's not why you're doing it. You're doing it so that because you're good at what you do and you care about what you do and you're honest, and principles of those things just captivate and cultivate good behavior and relationships. So I hope that's sort of helpful response to the person. Congratulations on being that exemplar business leader in Trinidad.
Thank you. I would also add a story, because it's always fun to add stories. And since I'm your host for today, you get a story from my past, right? I'm lucky you guys. All right. So back when I was doing engineering, I read this book called 7 Habits of Highly Effective Persons, and it asked me what was important to me. And I listed it out on a whiteboard: God, family, me as in my hobbies and interests, work and charity. But in reality, I was just working all the time as a workaholic and just doing engineering all the time, and everything else suffered. But because I had a time of bored and people kept asking me about it, I keep always going on and on. I said, you know what? I'm going to keep it and end up dancing, right? Because I was dancing all the time. And charity was a way of giving back. As charity, I gave back to that dance group and asked me to do a video. And in doing that video, I recognized, I actually love doing this. And that actually blossomed into a career for me until the point I had to make a choice: engineering or photography and videography. I've been in meetings, family meeting, my brother walk out, say, what's Chipness he doing? And walks out. People saying, Shem, photography, how the money in that? Right? And at the end of it, it was on me to say, what's important? What is my value system? God, family, my hobbies and interests, work and charity. So am I and God good? Yes. Me and my family good? Yes. Me and my hobbies and interests good? Yes. By the time I reach down to work, yeah, right? But so after 7 years, 7 months, and 7 days, I resigned from engineering to do photography. And luckily, right after resigning, guess what opportunity came up? Wildlife. Opportunity for me to go away, expenses paid, to learn about entrepreneurship. And photography and videography has carried me places I have could not imagine. Now, in this photography world, there are lots of things you could do. Now, learning entrepreneurship, learning networking, I had plenty of opportunities to do videos for lovely companies. And then they come to me and say, Shem, I have this idea, boy. But here is this is a real example. I'm not lying here, guys. I'm just not calling people names. I have an idea. It'll be like a Santa Claus on a motorbike and have girls and bikinis on him and driving. And I'm like, no, I don't think I could do that. Why is not you're not the director? I'm the director. I said, I'm just not comfortable, but it's not about you. You just a photographer. You could just do it. I say, you know what? I'm only comfortable creating content that my children could watch. Because in my value system is God, family, me, hobbies and interests, work. So the work could take a hit. And as long as I maintain my integrity on those things first. So these things are going to come to you guys in your business. You're going to ask you to say, hey, could I do this in this place? But that's not you, right? Could I create, or can I take more money or odd stuff going to come? But have to decide for yourself, what is your list? What's important? And make that list concrete. Write it down. And the decisions will come when it comes to you, be like, you know what? I'll make it in order with these things. All right. So that's oh, yes. Let's see, guys. Oh, we have from Nicole Adams. Good day. My company, Royalty Napkins, produces fresh food-based pepper sauces and jams. I take pride in the word fresh. If that fruit is out of season, I will not substitute it for flavoring. Well done. Well done. Yeah, the values pervade and go through every single thing. It's most important, guys. Right?
Shen, one thing I'll share with you for folks on this, and we can send it out, is I just recently taught a class on faith and leadership. And one of the things I wanted the students to do is to really think through their values. And so I provided them with a list of values, because this is not an immediate automatic thing, a list of values that they just spent time with. And then they picked out the numbers of things that they wanted, and then they listed those values. And then I invited them to ask at least 3 or 4 people they trust in their lives, i.e., I picked for my top value wholeheartedness, the way to love and be in relationship with people, with God, with self, with others, and with creation, this idea of wholeheartedness. But then I asked my closest friends or my family members, do you see that to be true in my life? And if so, how? So that I'm not picking values that I think I have, but that they can it can be affirmed in the community to which you belong. So this is really important. So business leaders, especially small entrepreneurs, micro entrepreneurs, are people who own a business and there are less than 10 employees in that business. So the vast majority of the world have micro entrepreneurs or fit between small and medium businesses. The big corporations that we all talk about in the Fortune 500, those are really a small discrete number, even if they employ thousands and hundreds of thousands of people. The vast majority, if you think about business, are made up of micro entrepreneurs, people who have 10 people or less on their payroll, or sole proprietors, like maybe a few of you are. And what happens with those folks in terms of responsible leadership is they're often better at inculcating their values into the work that they do, i.e., Nicole sharing that when she makes fresh pepper sauces and jams, and people are coming to her for fresh pepper sauces and jams. When that thing is no longer in season, i.e. no pomsite, you can't get pomsite jam from Nicole. She's not making it with any kind of other flavoring. I don't even know if you have flavoring for pomsite, but you get the idea, right? You can trust Nicole's product because she's bringing her value of truthfulness and honesty and integrity, and it's, forgive the pun, baked right into the work that she's doing with her jams and pepper sauces, right? So that's a real indicator that you as an entrepreneur can really drive the conversation both in community and in practice because you've identified the values that are important to you, and then your business begins to be an expression of that. I hope you find that helpful.
Indeed, thank you. I also want to touch on a topic which was brought up, which was shareholders versus stakeholders. Now that could be a bit convoluted or difficult to understand, but let's say we're thinking of small business. So question, who is the shareholder in your small business? The entrepreneur, yes. What's in here? I can say the entrepreneur. Anyone differs? Good. That is true. All right. So the entrepreneur is the shareholder. And let's say in a big business, typically one of the key stakeholders are the employees. Right? So in your small business, who are the employees? Well, your employees in your business? Mm-hmm. Who are the employees? Hmm? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. Are you one of the employees in your business? Yes. Do you treat that employee fairly? Yes. Do you pay that employee? Yes. Do you pay that employee fairly? Yes. Right? Amazing that you all do, right? I've seen some no's in the crowd. I'm not going to point at them because, you know what, I was guilty, right? Guilty, right? First business, boy, and didn't have that clear cut, hey, I pay myself properly, right? So abusing the business, right? So if I look through the lens of the business as a person, business crying and say, Shem, you're taking my money. You take him, I can't eat properly, I can't grow properly because you're stealing from my sham. Right? So on the other side of the shareholder, I good, you know, I can survive, I can feed my family and all these things. But you have to draw that balance. The business needs its share, its proper share, and you have to determine your share, and is your share proper market value? That's a question. I'll repeat the question if you ask. Okay.
So if you don't pay yourself all the time, but it doesn't make sure the company have everything it needs as well as you, because that is one of the aspects of it as well too. Because sometimes the person might feel as well, it will have instances where we would get a callback on our job based on
the 30 people on the chat crying, the same sham. I've been left out. I don't want to be left out.
Thank you very much. So on my job, it pertains to, it's like a give and take. So it will have instances, yes, I would pay myself. And then sometimes again, I would leave myself undone at times to facilitate the equipment that my company would need in the sense of chemicals, safety glasses, boots, and stuff like that, because I cannot allow my guys or myself to reach on our job location unprepared, especially in industrial estates. You must always have a proper PPE. One of the things as well, what that I realized within doing business, as much as you may be accountable to deliver your jobs precisely, there are things that will happen, accidents do happen, mishaps happen, and one of the things that I have done so far and learned along the way is taking accountability for the things that happens on the job site, as well as being honest and straightforward with the customer so they would understand, well, this happened, we are responsible and we are going forward to rectify the situation. In that way, it builds a stronger relationship between myself and the customer, because they know they in turn it would have many times I could honestly testify my customer will leave me in their whole house and say, well, let's go, Paul, go ahead and service it. And when you finish, just lock up and you'll let us know when you are finished. So it for me is more than just, yes, you have the stakeholders and stuff like that and you're paying yourself, but at the same point in time, you just, for me, I just sometimes forget to pay myself and try to make sure that my business could function at least for another year going forward.
Thank you for your honesty. Right. Any organs want to respond to that? Anybody? Because you people are paying themselves. Come. Right. So that's one perspective. And I understand that perspective. I was there.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Lucianne Henry Kutu, and I am from Henry Jack and Associates. We are accountants and auditors. So I'm giving that perspective. I understand that initially in a business, especially when you're now starting, that the business may not be making sufficient revenue to cover all your expenses. And as the entrepreneur, you would say, this is my sacrifice. I am not going to pay myself. That is an indication that the business is not making the money that it's supposed to make. And it's not that it can't, but it is a red flag. It's not something that's supposed to happen for any length of time or regularly. If it's happening, a health check needs to happen, a financial health check, to see where you can do things differently, where costs might be, leaking, and we can be a little more efficient, because that's not sustainable to not pay yourself. You will eventually take money from the business. And because while you're sacrificing your expenses and things that you need to do, it's piling up, and eventually you would take the money. So it's better to have a set salary, even if you have to accrue it. And I'm using an accounting word. It just means that, okay, the business owes me this money, right? So that you show how much money, because my salary is 5,000. I didn't take 5,000 this month. So next month it owes me 10. So you show how much based on what is the market rate that for your service that you're giving to the business. So it's in my perspective, always pay yourself, even if it's to accrue it, so that you show this is what the business owes you, so you don't go take out more to have the business cry.
Like you don't do it like directly, like all in a lump sum, and just like you're correct with what you say, but why does at times, like if it is I know it would be owing me this month, I would take out the full lump sum. I would just take out part until, because it would rather show my job would vary between, in the sense of the amount of jobs I would get on a monthly basis, or the amount of equipment that I would need for the job. So it is all varies, and I may not be able to take it out one time after that particular, but I do reimburse myself in the same way that you would say, but just in partial payments in that strategy. Would that move out, or still that?
That can work. I mean, there's no cookie cutter approach. What I would suggest is that you cost out every single job, so that you know exactly what's the cost per job and what is the profit you intend to make on it. You should always do also a budget, because that kind of keeps you in check as to what is the variances that I'm seeing here, so that you can, it acts as a red flag to see, okay, where is it? Did I miss budget? Did I quote a cost to my my client that and undervalue my service? Is there some kind of inefficiencies happening that I can do things better? So it's to have it as a gauge, but that is what I would suggest you do.
Excellent advice. And I didn't see it, right? It came from you guys, right? Excellent advice. I have felt it, right? I have felt in your journey through entrepreneurship, you're moving from unformalized to formalized demands that some of these hurdles be stepped over. Accounting, right? From the last business workshop, we had the chambers of commerce. You have the entrepreneurs many years in the game, and they say, hey, get an accountant. Make sure you pay the accountant, and make sure you do what the accountant see, but make sure you have an accountant, right? And the accountant will tell you, pay yourself. Right? Excellent, excellent stuff, guys. Let's go to the next one. And I really like how we understanding that although you might hear big terms, it's still relevant in where you are, right? The concepts are relevant. And let's see what the next one they have in store for us. Next lesson 2.
Hello, my name is Nuria Diallo Padro, Chief Executive Officer of Continued Success Global Consulting. Throughout my career, I've supported aspiring entrepreneurs, local startups, and community partners. I've worked with small business owners looking to realize their business ideas by equipping them with practical business advice and financial tools. I've managed projects in Ghana, Chile, Belize, Spain, and the United States. Welcome to Fundamentals of Responsible Leadership for Entrepreneurs. This lesson is entitled Framework for Ethical Team Building. In this lesson, we'll focus on how entrepreneurs should approach team building and personnel management to recognize and avoid conscious and unconscious biases. We'll talk about why discrimination and nepotism are a path to failure, and we'll look at the importance of diversity and inclusion. But this is not just about how you, the entrepreneur, behaves. All of these points are relevant for all aspects of your business, both internally and externally. To begin to move toward greater self-awareness and more inclusive best practices as professionals, we need to consider what bias is, understand its different forms, and how it manifests. Bias is prejudice or favor, which can be for or against a person, group, or thing compared to another, which usually leads to unfair conditions. Bias can either be conscious or unconscious. Conscious or explicit bias consists of attitudes and beliefs that one knowingly holds on to about a person, group, or things, which usually stems from a perceived threat. Conscious bias can include giving preference to a relative or someone you know well during the hiring or promotion process. This is also known as nepotism. This practice leads to ethical and legal challenges that can prove very costly to a business. It's important to be informed of the ethical and legal implications bias can have in your recruitment and hiring practices. Unconscious bias or implicit bias is harder to identify because one is not usually self-aware of the prejudice or favor one holds towards a person, group, or things. The bias will then manifest through 3 typical behaviors: microaggressions, microiniquities, and triggers. Microaggressions are behaviors and practices that reflect the implicit or explicit bias a person holds. Examples of microaggressions include avoidance, negative body language, or speaking negatively or differently towards another person or group to degrade their physical appearance, abilities, experience, voice as it relates to influence, words, authority, or credentials. This is extremely harmful in the workplace because it leads to low employee morale, distrust, lack of opportunities, and a toxic work environment. These same behaviors can be found in the recruitment and hiring process, which leads to the loss of top talent and client acquisition. Micro-iniquities are specific phrases or word choices that degrade, divide, or judge a person, group, or thing. Phrases or questions such as, "When I see you, I don't see color." "Where are you from?" "You are so articulate," reflect bias and should be removed to enhance communication focused on a nurturing and inclusive environment. Triggers are situations, topics, or inherent biases that activate the use of microaggressions, micro-iniquities, and defense mechanisms. We should not wait to address bias, especially unconscious bias, as a reaction to seeing it in the workplace through triggers. Rather, we should be proactive to create an inclusive environment through awareness, education, and best practices. Becoming aware of your inherent biases is a step towards becoming more open and inclusive as leaders and entrepreneurs. Now, let us explore a specific question managers and entrepreneurs often have when dealing with employees or clients. How to manage so-called difficult people. Let us first consider, what makes them difficult? Is it a matter of their presence, their perspective, or communication styles varying from yours, and that makes it difficult for you to manage the way you believe you can? Or is the person truly being difficult, pushing back, so as not to move a project or goal forward? Consider assessing your own biases before addressing an employee you might consider as difficult. This can be a particular challenge when you're working on a deadline. Therefore, it's in your best interest to be proactive in your self-assessment and ongoing commitment to learning to explore your biases, communication styles, and leadership styles before you're placed in this position. There is a framework for addressing diversity and inclusion in the workplace, known as the Netter Principles. These are 12 principles that were developed at Cornell University to get us to think about what diversity and inclusion means to us and how to create a more inclusive work environment that embraces diversity across different groups, levels, and situations in an organization. At the core of these principles are the ideas of ethical leadership and ethical decision-making. Any framework remains theoretical until you commit to consider the principles and situation from a fair and inclusive viewpoint. As leaders, we need to intentionally grow in moving our unconscious biases into a place of awareness to be able to change our own actions, reactions, and positions. This will allow us to facilitate a more inclusive and efficacious workplace. The 12 Netter Principles are based on working toward a more inclusive work environment. Consider your current professional repertoire and organization. Do you ignore, strive toward, or achieve these principles? They are a demonstrated commitment to diversity across all formal and informal levels within an organization structure and systems. A holistic view of employees, which recognizes the whole persons with identities and personal family lives outside of the organization. Access to opportunity creates and nurtures opportunities for all employees to have equitable access to professional and personal growth. Accommodation of diverse physical and developmental abilities are offered through intentional efforts to provide reasonable accommodations that eliminate barriers to workforce performance, employee participation, and access to the workplace and its offerings. 360-degree communication and information sharing flows from and in all directions and across all levels of responsibility. Equitable systems of recognition and reward encourage and celebrate diverse contributions and achievements across all levels of responsibility. Shared accountability and responsibility refers to a shared investment in upholding the organizational values and goals that support an inclusive environment within and throughout the network and organization in which an entrepreneur coexists. A demonstrated commitment to continuous learning that leads to greater personal and professional development, increased collaborations, and a more fluid organization that supports innovation, diversity, and inclusion. a participatory work, organization, and work process in which the individual and collective skills include aptitudes and experiences beyond the traditional academic or professional trainings offered. The alignment of organizational culture and process that understands that, like bias, culture can be implicit and explicit in how it manifests throughout the organization and should align with the mission and values of the organization and its employees across all levels of responsibility. Collaborative conflict resolution processes empower employees to seek collaboration, inclusivity, and resolution based on mutual respect. And finally, a demonstrated commitment to community relationships through constructive alliances with local organizations to support diverse initiatives and opportunities to eliminate bias or barriers. These concepts can also be applied to the entrepreneur, regardless of whether you run a small business or are scaling locally, regionally, nationally, or internationally. As entrepreneurs, we need to also be aware of our own biases and strive to be more inclusive in how we work with our clients, communities, and partners. It will be a determining factor in how your business model takes shape, how you interact and sell to your target markets, and it will allow for you to be more intentional in your ability to grow your business. Confronting bias starts with one self-assessment. As a leader, you can make an impact to create a more inclusive environment. After you have reviewed all the lessons in this course, you can test your knowledge and earn a certificate.
All right. Any questions, guys? All right. So, see that something in the chat. Yep, the online folks always on point. Ooh, we have a feisty question here, guys. Let's see. Let me be devil's advocate and ask, how is affirmative action now perceived given the explanation of bias? Attempts at inclusivity may be seen as bias by others who are not benefiting immediately. Ooh, good thing we have JoAnn. Dr. Flett, help.
I love how you punted that one there, Shem. Great question. You know, as I was listening to this is very much, I would want Trinidadian and Trinbagonians to actually think about what this means in Trinidad. But I'll attempt to say this. Here in the US, that's exactly right. When folks start in on paying attention to people who are left out, everyone thinks that they're upending a way and a structure. I would recommend in Trinidad, because we're context specific, that there are variations in the various races and that there is some level of collaboration. But what you're trying to do is you're trying to find the people who are on the outside and allow them to have access to things. So if you know a particular demographic is outside of the scope of what you're trying to do, you need to be mindful that you, because especially in a small country like Trinidad, where there's so many races and they all live so close together, that you need to have a very diverse portfolio and everyone should be welcome, irregardless of their race or their creed, whichever party they're voting for. Here in the US, it's Democrat and Republican split right down the middle. We have Blacks, we have whites. So it's interesting to me that in Trinidad, this would take on a very different feel and texture. But I think ultimately, if I'm answering that question, it's you've got to set a place for everyone to belong. And if you are aware that all of the people in your network are all Indian, or they're all Afro-Trinidadian, or they're all one particular thing, then you have to take it on yourself to recognize that you have some implicit bias going on and that you need to change up your game. How's that for an answer? Shem, what would you add?
A clap, yes. I guess you get some claps in the room here. I only add example, right? So I'm a photographer, I do a lot of weddings, and I did a lot of Hindu weddings, right? And I thought it was good. I thought I knew everything until I got a Dorian on my team. Dorian is Indo-Trinidadian, and Dorian says during the session, during the wedding, he says, "Oh, this is going to happen here, and this is going to, and they're doing this for this reason." And I'm like, "Wait, Dorian, how do you know all those details?" "Oh, one point in time, I wanted to be a pundit." So now I was like, "What?" When Dorian photographs a Hindu wedding for me, I understand and see the details of the capture, and it makes me appreciate what's going on a lot more. So I benefited from that, right? So this is a little story where you too can benefit in ways you don't know yet by having a lot of inclusivity. Oh, a question? You should come and sit down here. I could just do this. Yeah, come on, closer. If you want to, Rich.
All right, so I'm going to play devil's advocate. My name is Kanisa Mangal. Yes. I am the owner of Cool Mess Cafe. I'm a caterer. All right. Let's play devil's advocate. In Trinidad, we don't really have and I'm being very broad when I say we don't really have a race discrepancy. Again, my name is Kanisa Mangal. Right? But what we do have is education discrepancies. We have an educational bias. We have a location bias. We have a demographic versus, Laventille versus Westmoreland's bias. Right? That is mostly the biases that I have come across. I am also a female in engineering outside of my business, and I get that bias. I am literally the only female in my department. Right? So you also have that bias locally. So I can't use the word escape, but maneuver around those innate biases, because having the perception that someone from, let's say, St. Barb's to come to work for you, there is an automatic bias. Oh my God, this person is from St. Barb's, this person is from the Beatum, this person is from Las Lomas. We have a thing where we say that we have a South Indian. I'm still waiting to meet a South Indian, but yes, there is a South Indian bias that we automatically have. And they always say people from the West say everything from South start by the lighthouse. Right? So those are innate biases. So trying to work around those. How best to work around those innate biases, those cultural biases that we have.
Thank you very much. And she very well articulated many of the biases that we do have that exist in Trinidad and Tobago. And it is real. I can only fall back on the advice of the video, which recognizes that entrepreneurs are the leaders. Entrepreneurs have the power because you are in control of your group. And if you remove those biases, then your group you save someone else from seeing those issues that you see, right? And say, you know what, in spite of, right? Or because of, this is value. I see this not as anything bad. I see it as an opportunity to gain something that I don't have. JoAnn, talking sense, Dr. JoAnn?
Yeah, I mean, Shem, that's exactly right. I mean, your example of your story with having the Indo-Trinidadian be your photographer because he was going to be a pundit, and the way he sees and photographs weddings is really sort of a testament to the fact that diversity shows up in different ways. And I would say, yeah, absolutely. From the person asking the question, it sounds to me like you're in conversations where you know that people talk about those folks in a certain way, right? And so the subversive thing is to actually maybe hire the South Indian into the conversation, or talk about a friend who's a South Indian, who you can then help change and shift perceptions, right? I've been doing this conversation now with several people where I talk about not big changes, not all of the big things, but this 1 degree shift. If you want to change a big, seafaring sea liner, you move it 1 degree, and that 1 degree change in not very long will put it completely in a whole different course setting. And that's what we have to do around bias and racism, or whatever else we want to call it. A 1 degree change, and that change, I'm going to invite you to think of it like this, is a change towards loving your neighbor as yourself. You heard it in the first video. Actually, she said it. How would I want to feel if I were doing this type of business? And in the second video, it was writ large, because if you ask yourself, how do I want to feel and make others feel when I'm doing business, I think we'll get closer to that, the ways in which we need to sort of start addressing the implicit bias that we have. And at the end of the day, we're all responsible for our own biases. And then we're also at some level responsible for the biases of our neighbors as well, not to like beat them down with things, but to be in conversation with them to help them think about difference. And so one of the things I suggest is you invite people to stay in the room with difference. You invite them to not compare my best to your worst. And then remember to stay curious about who that other person is, and what they can bring to things, i.e. think of Shem's example of the curiosity that showed up when he hired an Indo-Trinidadian to photograph weddings, when he's very capable and competent in photographing, but this person brought new eyes. So again, those 3 things are helpful practices when you're talking about leading across difference or including others.
Thank you, Dr. Flett. All right. Second. And now, guys, for the next one.
Hi, I'm Dante Disparte, and like many of you watching, I'm an entrepreneur. I'm the founder of a company called Risk Cooperative that helps organizations around the world manage risk, readiness, and resilience. I'm honored to share my experiences and views on the link between ethical leadership, business, and decision-making. Welcome to Fundamentals of Responsible Leadership for Entrepreneurs. This lesson is entitled Avoiding Pitfalls in Managing Your Business Ethically. In this lesson, we will review how entrepreneurs can ethically guide their businesses to better manage risk. We'll look at how you can make values-based decisions that will serve your business, customers, partners, and investors. And we'll talk about best practices that will help avoid pitfalls that can result in devastating consequences for your business, employees, and community. In so many ways, entrepreneurs, more so than any other business leaders, have the best opportunity to shape their projects, organizations, and businesses according to their value systems. This is where many of the largest and supposedly most trusted organizations in the world, including in the public sector, have often failed. For far too long, managing risk has been seen as a function of controlling losses and adherence to compliance standards. But as organizations fall prey to complex intangible risks, from unwanted disclosure due to rampant cyber threats, to breaches of conduct driven by misguided and poorly conceived incentive systems, smart entrepreneurs are realizing that effective risk management involves promoting ethical leadership and values-based decision-making. A key lesson along your entrepreneurial journey that highlights the power of ingraining ethical leadership and conduct in your business is the fact that values matter most when they are least convenient. This is an area that has been particularly difficult for large organizations and even governments around the world, as what happens behind closed doors is often shown to be inconsistent with what happens in public. Entrepreneurs and early-stage business leaders may have the best opportunity in the world to hardwire corporate value systems into their businesses and projects. In an entrepreneurial environment riddled with uncertainty and variability, value systems are the only constant. For our value systems to be more than empty slogans, they must withstand the trial by fire of tough calls, guiding behavior and decision-making when it is least convenient. Your values should be based on the principles of fair play, respecting the rule of law, human rights, and social responsibility. You must operate according to your values every day. Incorporate them into your interactions with customers, suppliers, partners, and investors. And you must articulate them clearly and repeatedly to your employees. And your employees must demonstrate that they know your values and can be trusted to adhere to them. At the same time, they should also know what behaviors will not be tolerated. Our value systems are the sum of our conduct, especially during situations of stress or compromise that might force us to get off our path. The journey of an entrepreneur, and certainly my own, has many forks in the road. But if we hold to our value systems and ethical leadership, we will always find the right way, even in the toughest times. As you develop and grow your business, it's critical that you create responsible business practices that go hand in hand with ethical leadership. These include complying with domestic and international business laws and regulations, avoiding corrupt practices, having professional and transparent accounting systems, screening staff and potential partners to ensure they are and will continue to behave in an ethical manner, adhering to fair labor standards, avoiding human trafficking. The success of your business depends on everyone involved in your enterprise, and listening and responding to them is critical to your survival. Finally, embrace diversity and inclusion in all aspects of your business. All too often, as the doors close on the boardrooms and halls of power of the most consequential organizations in the world, there are too few women, minorities, and other voices represented in those rooms, along your supply chain and in your customer base. As we were building Risk Cooperative into the organization it is today, somehow the question of ensuring not only a diverse but inclusive environment was much easier to do at the design level of our company than after the fact. Diversity and inclusion remain one of the most elusive areas of opportunity for most organizations in the world, and entrepreneurs have a unique chance to shape the future by making it more participatory. Know that ethical leadership can improve outcomes for entrepreneurs and in the greater picture for society. Remember that profit and purpose are not in competition, and that you, as an entrepreneur, can seek your financial stability at exactly the same time you make a positive impact on the world. This triple bottom line of balancing economic, social, and environmental priorities is critically important. Again, responsible business conduct and your personal and organizational value systems matter most when least convenient. These values are not the nice words you might write on your business plan. They are the behaviors and choices you make when you are facing difficulty, adversity, or moral compromise. The ethical leader follows their internal North Star, and this sets their organizations, projects, and people on a path to prosperity. In a world running on only a few of its cylinders, the opportunities in the hands of entrepreneurs to improve outcomes on diversity and inclusion not only will improve their organizations by drawing in more talent and better views from a broader array of community members, it will also set an example that has long-lasting implications and impacts on business and society. Remember, being a successful entrepreneur means being an ethical leader. After you have reviewed all of the lessons in this course, you can test your knowledge and earn a certificate.
All right, team. Let's see if there are any questions. Somebody's saying correct. Good. All right. All right. Any questions from the audience? Any issues with what he said? Is he right? Is he wrong? Right? Is what he's saying there relevant to us here in Trinidad and Tobago? Very much so. Right? So you see, some things are universal, right? It's stand beyond, yes, you're nail tech, and yes, I am a photographer, and yes, you could all be there. What do you do?
It's a children company, Music Kids Education and Entertainment.
Right. Kids education and entertainment, content creation, and stories. Lovely. And that's relevant there as well. Wow. Right? Akim, come closer. Tell us what you do.
Well, I'm a secretary in a company that focuses on trying to bring awareness to young local artists, either young in age or just entering the industry.
And is it relevant there as well?
Yeah, I would say so. Especially as my company as well is just starting off. So a lot of the time we tend to sacrifice, profit in order to just get, all the young artists that have been struggling long before we even became a company to try to get that exposure. So we try to put them first.
Good. Thank you. Right. Let's see any questions online. Or Dr. Flett, do you have any input into what was said?
No, I think that's a good summary. You kind of tie it full back when he talks about risk management. Profit and purpose need to go together. And you heard earlier on about Friedman, Edward Friedman, the father of stakeholder theory, if you will, saying, let's not have a separation thesis, right? This idea that business can't do good and do well. You can actually make profit, and you can be responsible for employees, customers, the environment. And so profit and purpose can go together. He said it, Dante said it in this last video. So just those are the things I would want to underline, is that this is not a trade-off. This is what Milton Friedman thought initially with this stockholder theory, is that it's a trade-off. You're going to reduce business profits and capitalism would stall. He thought of it as a subversive doctrine to do good and to do well. Actually, it is not. It's actually a higher, I like to think of it as a higher, more evolved form of capitalism when we actually manage our businesses ethically. So that would be the comment that's in my head from what was shared.
Thanks, Dr. Flett. All right, so that is the 3 videos there. Now, at the end of it, I know that you guys have this down pat, right? So let's see how quickly you can go through this quiz. And I just want you to rattling out the answers, okay? Right? No issues at all. All right, let's make that smaller. All right, and guys on the chat, you can put in the answer as well. All right, question 1. One of the 2 standard theories of ethics is the stakeholder theory. The shareholder theory states that the manager's primary duty is to maximize. What is it? Client, partner, government, shareholder, customer. Any answers, guys? Shareholder, okay, yeah, shareholder. All right, going good. Number 2, the stakeholder theory of ethics says that the manager's primary duty is to maximize the returns of. So stakeholder. All of the employees, suppliers, customers, partners, communities. All right. Green guns. That is 2 for the audience, in person audience, 0 for the chat. A code of conduct outlines the values and behaviors that apply only to how a company's senior management behaves. False. All right. Entrepreneurs should be able to recover from broken premises if they have a history of ethical leadership and follow a code of conduct. What is it? True. You're getting some people on the chat, okay? I think chat beat you guys this time, right? In the Business Ethics Field Guide, one of the 8 steps to survive ethical dilemmas says, determine the circumstances that require some moral intensity and articulate the values you want your decision to honor, and note how these values may compete. Which step does this refer to? Identifying the important fact. A. B. Assessing any new potential solutions. Identify this ethical issue. Assess solutions using ethical perspective, or assess your actions and the outcomes. All right, all right. Being strong, guys. Mainly holding attitudes and beliefs about a person, group, or things, including showing preference and nepotism, is conscious or unconscious? All right, all right. 7. What is the prejudice or favor toward a person, group, or things, and manifests through 3 typical behaviors: microaggressions, micro inequities, and triggers? All right, okay, okay. I hope for your sake, but for our sake, you know, I want to get a certificate, right? This type of behavior is exemplified by specific phrases or word choices that degrade, divide, or judge a person, group, or thing. Dun, 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 dun. Microaggressions going once. B, you have B. The chat on flames, guys. Good job, guys. B. Well, I hope you're all right, you know. Managers should wait to address bias, especially unconscious bias, until after the seat in the workplace through triggers. True or false? All right. Chat. Okay. Chat on fire too. Nice. Which of these is not one of the 12 meta principles designed to aid in working toward a more inclusive work environment? Shared accountability and responsibility, a demonstrated commitment to diversity, changing 60 communication information sharing, promotion system based on employee competition, collaborative conflict resolution processes. All right. The chat beat you, but that's fine. I'll take it. 11, effective risk management involves promoting what kind of leadership and what kind of decision making? Is it honorable and ethical and values based, strong values based, ethical and entrepreneurial, proven and financially based? All right, you have an eek from somebody. Chat, what are you saying? Efficient risk management. Chat, see, you're ethical and entrepreneurial. Anybody see? Yeah, see? I hear B from Lene. All right, somebody saying B, ethical and values based. B, going to B's. All right, how many? 3 B's so far. 3 to, and how many C's? It could be B. All right, B's, the chat guiding you guys. Value systems and values-based decisions should be based on the principles of fair play, respecting the rule of law, human rights, social responsibility, all of the above, or none of the above. Ooh, chorus behind you guys. It is not necessary for employees of a company to understand the company's value system as long as managers can articulate them clearly and repeatedly when asked. All right, false. There are responsible business practices that go hand in hand with ethical leadership. They include complying with business laws and regulations, avoiding corrupt practices, maintaining professional and transparent accounting systems, screening staff and potential partners to ensure they behave in an ethical manner, adhering to fair labor standards and avoiding human trafficking. Which of these is also responsible business practice? Creating a relaxing work environment, providing health facilities for employees, hiring friends and family for key positions, embracing diversity and inclusion, all of the above or none of the above? I seen a D. I seen a D on the chat. The chat saying D's. All right. Let's see how good you guys are. Oh, yes. You have taken it. You're ethically answering this question correctly. Let's see. One of your answers are incorrect. You have 4 more chances. Let's see which one you got wrong, guys.
Just remember what we have.
Now they'll show you the X. Up. This type of behavior is exemplified by specific phrases or word choices. Did I hit that wrong? Okay. Microaggression. Let's see. I was sure. You were sure last time, just saying. Okay. All right, all right, all right. Now, microaggressions is not right, guys. Tree. Woo, woo. Talk to me, guys. Chat, help. This type of behavior is exemplified by specific phrases or word choices that. What's that? I feel that it is. I go and check the I can check the but this is framework article. No, this is the very first one. All right. Wait. Is that cheating? Oh, let's see. So what do you think, guys? Triggers is a type of behavior.
I think this is behavior, unconscious bias.
Mm-hmm.
It's not discrimination, microaggression. It's definitely an unconscious bias.
Ah.
Unconscious.
Because
it's a behavior. Okay. This is specific phrases. And this is discrimination. All right. I'm convinced.
Unconscious?
Yeah.
All right. Yep. I just read. Guys, making sure I'm not missing anything else here. I know that unconscious. Guys, for you're getting strong. You're going home and do this on yourself. All right, what it is, guys? Triggers of micro inequities.
What is the meaning of micro inequities?
All right, good question. Micro inequities. What does it mean of micro inequities? Micros, very small. Inequity is like, you're treating somebody unfairly. Chat, help.
Okay, so it's yeah.
All right.
I would have thought it was microaggressions, but you said that was written wrong. So I don't know. That feels.
Micro inequities. All right, let's go. Hey! Let's have a final word from our U.S. Embassy in representative.
I'll just say,
hello, you on the camera in here. My name is Ehub. I'm the Assistant Public Affairs Officer here at the U.S. Embassy. Just want to say a huge thank you to Shem for putting this on today and for doing a great big highlight of YY and some of our other exchange programs, including Fulbright, which Dr. Flett is deeply involved in. And so thank you all for coming out today, and we hope to see you guys again soon. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Eli. And lastly, we have a superwoman. All right, calling to the stage, Deirdre Crystal Leakin, responsible for managing the OR program. Right?
Like a read mic? I'm not going to be very long. And this one too?
Yeah. I guess I'm right here.
I'm feeling real
special,
important all of a sudden. I'm like slightly nervous now. Okay. Yeah, to trip on this wire and then just steal the whole show. Okay. Hi everyone, good afternoon. I just want to say thank you so much for being here despite the weather. I know that the weather gave us some challenges, but you guys showed up, and it's always nice to see in-person faces. And of course, where's the Zoom camera? Okay. And of course, to have you guys joining us online. So I just want to take this opportunity to thank Shem and to thank Shem's team for arranging this workshop. They've been doing a great job so far, and this is only the second one. So I know the ones to follow are going to be even better. And of course, a very special thank you and a heartfelt thank you from everyone at the Ehub to Dr. JoAnn Flett. I always feel so proud when I say that. JoAnn we've said it several times today, but without you, we would not have had the Ehub. Thank you for standing by us through the entire process and for continuing to support us every time we need you. Thank you so much. And I also want to say a special thank you to the U.S. Embassy of Port of Spain Public Affairs Office, American Spaces, for their continued support in everything that we do, to the Wildline Network for giving us access to the course material, to the Superior Regional Corporation, to the Faizabad Regional Corporation, our list is getting so long and nice, to the Kuva Tabaki Talparo Regional Corporation, and to the YBTC organization for partnership for the Global Entrepreneurship Week. I hope I covered everyone, and if I didn't, we thank you nonetheless, and you know that we appreciate your continued support as well. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you guys. Bye-bye. All right. No, immediately at 3 o'clock, you know, guys. Oh, there. I was joking, but I hope you all had fun, right? It's good, it's good, it's good. Thank you very much. All right. And I have something for you all to